So I think I have to say, so far this episode is the most controversial and the most difficult to describe. Probably noticed by the title, it's a bit different than the previous one was. And yeah. So hello and welcome back with another episode review of the Star Trek the Animated Series. Today we're going to talk about the episode Jihad. First of all, before we go into the episode, let's talk about the title. I remember at the beginning when I looked over the episode list on DVD and I saw this episode and I was like, yeah, this is gonna be hard to talk about. And when I saw the episode, actually I realized, yes, it's gonna be hard to talk about this episode. So, but before we go into the episode, let's talk about the title itself. It's Jihad. The word itself means struggling, striving. Now, after seeing the episode and thinking about it a couple of days, I actually realized, okay, this is what was the main theme of the episode. So this episode is more of a struggling experience that the Enterprise, the crew of the Enterprise, well, Kirk and Spock, goes through with a couple of other alien from different races. So in this episode, the Enterprise has just arrived to the Vedela asteroid for a unique mission. Kirk and Spock technically being assigned for this mission. It was an interesting scene at the beginning of this episode when they were in the transporter room and Kirk said to Scotty, beam us down, and if you won't hear anything from us, then you have your orders. So technically they prepared to go to a mission, and there was a chance not to come back to the Enterprise anymore. And Kirk and Spock, so it was a kind of different feeling at the beginning, like why do they have to go together, the two main officers going down to this planet? And then in this planet there was a couple of races. There was a Vedalan lady creature. We had Char, the bird-like creature from a previous episode, I think it was yesteryear actually. And then we had a lizard slash dinosaur creature called Skorr. And then we had a human, like a sort of Amazon lady called Lara, and we had a insect, M3 green. That was the green insectoid race that we had in the episode. They technically been assembled together to get back the soul of LR. This is an artifact that's supposed to make peace between different races. Technically the soul of LR was stolen before, and they assembled these people with Kirk and Spock to actually go and find this artifact and get it back, because otherwise the Skorr, the ancient race, they will get back and they declare jihad in the universe, so they will actually gonna take back the universe itself. To avoid this, the Veladian leader actually assembled everyone, and with everyone's approval she sent everyone to this planet. It's a mad planet, that's how I can describe it. It's full with eruptions, volcanoes and incredible weather conditions, and no life forms apart from them, but leave that for later. So I had a strange feeling at the beginning. Why? Okay, Kirk and Spock, they're like human and Vulcan, and they're like Starfleet captain and a scientist, and they had their abilities as well, but then what a lock thief does there, because the green insect was a thief technically. The Lara, the humanoid female, was a Amazon. We didn't really know anything about her, but then she was there. And even Sword was someone else. I mean, he looked like a Han Solo from Star Wars. I mean, you know, a scavenger or something. And T'Char as well, the bird creature. He actually looked quite, sophisticated. But he had that religious belief as, I don't know, he was quite a separatist at the end, as it turned out. So when they arrived to this planet, there was a vehicle in the ground, and they tried to use that, to search the surface for this artifact. But then the car itself was useless, as it turned out, because it wasn't really suitable for the surface of this environment. But then a volcano just erupted, and everyone was saying, "Oh, we have to move." But then the car was broken. But Spock and everyone was so calm, like, we should try to fix this car, and you know what, I heard you can actually fix everything. And Spock was saying to Green, let's call him Green, because that EM3 green is just too long and too complicated. So Spock was telling Green to fix the car, but then Green was like, we'll need someone who will give me the instructions because otherwise we won't finish it in time. But then they did it so slow, and Kirk, Sword and Lara, they actually run up to the top of the mountain, top of that hill they stranded next to, and actually they managed to block the little alleyway, so managed to block the lava flow. There was an interesting balance between Kirk and Lara. Kirk quite fancied Lara, and actually Lara quite fancied Kirk as well. And actually Lara said once, if there will be other circumstances, we would have some green memories, and even Kirk said us like, oh, green memories, had quite a few. Yeah, I still remember when Shatner said once in a parody, so
never had green alien sex, but I'm sure it'd be quite an evening.
They fixed the car, they ran out from the lava flow, but the car broke down halfway through, so they had to leave the car and they have to carry the equipment. And there was one point actually when they've been walking and at one point the ground opened underneath Green, and Green almost fell into the cliff, but then the Char grabbed him and saved him. But he was like, I'm so tired and I'm not afraid anymore because I'm gonna die, everyone's gonna die. But then Sword just took him and they went away from that place. Finally they find the temple, and suddenly the swoopers, these Dragonite-like creatures, it's so incredible how they reuse these aliens all the time. So the swoopers just appeared and they attacked everyone around Kirk and Spock, and even Kirk and Spock, but then they tried to fight back, and they captured actually the Char. Well, that's what we thought actually, that they captured Char. So yeah, they went in, and there was the soul of Elar, surrounded by a force field. And then Kirk finally figured there has to be a traitor between them, and it was Char, as it turned out. So he tried to kill everyone in the temple and get the soul of Elar, and just restore his race power and prowess, because at the beginning Char said his race lost all of his power and prowess, and his race just being neglected and just used as a slave race. But obviously that wasn't the case. He was just like someone in rebellion who wanted to take revenge on the Vedalans and everyone else technically who sent their race into slave. Char tried to kill everyone in the temple, and he actually changed the gravity on the temple. I have no idea how, because that was an alien planet. He wasn't really there, and how did he change the inner gravity of the temple? So it was something that I didn't really understand at the beginning, and there's another thing, but let's get to that later. There's this whole zero-G situation, and everyone was floating around. Then the Char said, okay, actually I will make you die gracefully. So they engaged a zero-G fight with each other. So Kirk and Spock managed to actually get the Char, and all of the others managed to get the soul of Elar, and they transported back suddenly to the planet, to the asteroid. And there was a Vedalan female leader, and she was so grateful and so helpful, and obviously they sentenced Char to eternal prison. So the artifact has been returned to the Vedalans, and the mission accomplished, mission completed. Everyone went back to their ship, but there was one thing: no one understood anything and no one remembered anything. So the Vedalans deleted all of the information, all of the memories from the mission, from everyone's memory. So it was quite interesting to think about. Spock and Kirk beamed back to the Enterprise at the end of the episode, and Sulu was there. Actually, I said it wrong at the beginning of the episode review. It wasn't Scotty, it was Sulu. So do forgive me. While they beamed down, at the same time they beamed back, but then because in that small amount of time they had this mission to deal with, so they didn't remember anything. But then, funny enough, Kirk said as well, the Vedalans didn't want us to remember anything, so they deleted our memories. So yeah, that was the episode itself. So what can I say about this episode? There was a couple of things that I didn't really agree and didn't really get on with in this episode. First of all, the title. Now we understand the word itself, Jihad, is struggling. Something that I didn't really get along with is the religious aspect of the whole episode. It's The Federation and the Prime Directive clearly states you should never interfere with internal politics and religion. So why they had to, even if they actually forgot about the whole thing, why did they have to go and solve the situation? It was a bit far-fetched for me, but whatever. Kirk and Lara situation was quite funny actually. I really like the dynamic between them. Okay, it's a cartoon, but it's still Star Trek, and it's basically for adults and not adults, but this subject was a bit more implication of the act itself, so yeah, PG-13. Fun fact, this was the only episode actually in season 1 that didn't feature the bridge of the Enterprise and almost the rest of the crew. I mean, we only seen Sulu for briefly and Kirk and Spock and the transporter room. So yeah, what can I make out of this? I mean, I should... yeah, I know, I was supposed to give a ratings for this episode, so let's go with a 3 out of 5. Yeah, I would give a 3 out of 5. That's not gonna be my favorite episode. I didn't really like the whole story. The story could have been more detailed as well. We didn't really know who stole the soul of Iglar, and we didn't really know how it ended up in that planet. So it just ended up in that planet. They found it. It was like, okay, what was the backstory of this mysterious robbery, let's say? And again, getting a bunch of people together, and some of them are like respected science and officers and captains, and the others are like thieves and scavengers. Like, I don't really see the point why they had to get assembled together, these sort of people, but it worked, and it is what it is now. So officially, this was the last episode of season 1 from the animated series. I'm a bit sad because so far I really enjoyed watching the episodes, and I'm really enjoy doing these reviews as well. I mean, I'm pretty sure if you look at the first episode and the last episode of season 1, you can see the development as well. Not just my presentation skills improved since I started, but also the whole structure of this episode reviews are much better, much fluent, and much organized, let's say. So season 2 is coming. There's only 6 episodes left from the animated series. I'm not going to do a season 1 recap just now because it's just too early, and so I'm gonna watch season 2. I'm gonna do the reviews every week for the following weeks, or following 6 weeks, so there's 6 more episodes. Season 2 ended, I'm going to do a bigger recap. That's what I actually said in one of my previous videos, so a bigger recap on the animated series itself. I'm really excited about that, and I'm really excited about to actually see the rest of the 6th episode. I'm a bit sad because it's coming to the end, so I guess all good things have to end at the end. As always, thank you very much for watching, and please don't forget to like and share the video, and don't forget to let me know your thoughts about this episode in the comment section below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to receive all the geekiness twice a week. New videos like this coming out every Wednesday and Sunday, and I hope I'm gonna see you in the next video. Live long and prosper. But even with Star Trek Discovery, I wouldn't recommend to binge watch all the episodes. If it will come out and it will be available, the whole entire season, on Netflix, I'm definitely not gonna watch it every episode in one day, because it's like 13 episodes. You can't do that.